My name is Jaya Tiwari. I will be your today's psychology teacher. And if you want to know anything about me, I am ready to start with the introduction session. And if you're
Yeah,
comfortable with starting the class itself, it's also fine.
yeah, we can start.
You can start with the class, with the topic
Yeah,
in hand. Okay. So, Zarif, psychology is a subject that deals with the mind and behavior of a person. But the most intriguing part of the psychology is learning about the disorders, is learning about the behavior that is not accepted by the society. Do you agree?
yeah,
We use psychology in various settings, but the most intriguing part is when we saw a person who is not behaving normally or whose behavior is not accepted by the society. When there is a behavior that is deviant in nature, deviant means when the nature is at the extreme point, but in the ways where the society accepts it, whether it's too moralistic or too egoistic. Okay, when the behavior is such that it's dangerous for the person itself and the person surrounding it, it's the second D. Have you heard about the four Ds of the psychological disorder?
no,
So these are the four Ds. First was the deviant, when the personality or when the behavior of a person is very deviant, that the behavior lies at the extreme. Second, the behavior is dangerous, dangerous for the person itself and for the surroundings of the people. For example, suppose your friend has a psychological problem and he has a tendency to harm people. That behavior is not acceptable, na? If he just
yeah,
come, if he just come and harm a person with a ruler or a compass, lead him to a serious injury. Does it acceptable as an excuse of psychological disorder? No. We should need it to be treated and addressed. Third D is dysfunctional. When a behavior makes a person's life dysfunctional, the person is not able to carry out their daily duties or daily responsibilities in a proper way. If a person is feeling anxious, how they are supposed to do their homework, how they are supposed to attend their classes, how they are supposed to maintain their relationship when they are all the times anxious. My goodness, I'm taking class of Zarif. How will he perceive me? Am I looking good? Am I speaking good English? Am I presentable to Zarif? If these are my thoughts, how will I focus on delivering the lecture? How will I fulfill my duty?
mm,
Do you understand?
yeah.
Okay. So will you please give me a gist of the three Ds I have just discussed? Only the names.
Like they're like psychological problems.
Hmm. They are
There
psychology.
are like the way you depict something,
Hmm.
like a disorder,
They can
like a disorder.
disorient.
Yeah,
No, they don't
and like
disorient.
abnormal behavior and all that.
Yes. When I started, I said there are four Ds. One was deviant. How will we define if a person has psychological disorder? We look out for four Ds in his behavior. First one was deviant. That
Mm,
his behavior is deviant from the normal acceptable behaviors. Okay.
yeah,
Second was dysfunctional. Dysfunctional, he is not able to carry out their responsibilities. Third one was dangerous. Imagine a friend who will come at you with a knife in his hand. That's dangerous. And fourth is distressing. Distressing in a way when an individual experiences emotional pain, discomfort, and suffering. When a
yeah,
distress is not just occasional means due to a certain stimuli or certain situation, but it is a part of a person behavior. He is always in distress. Distress about taking a bus, distress about talking to people, distressing about how to maintain their social relationships. They got a point in getting distressed over something or somewhere. Okay.
mm,
So these are the four Ds. You need to, memorize it. You need to get it in your mind so that you will easily detect if a person has any kind of psychological issues. Okay. There are
yeah,
four Ds: deviant, dangerous, dysfunctional, and distressing. Now, when we talk about psychological disorders, we have a number of lists. There is a total book, if you have heard about DSM, Diagnostic, Statistical, and Manuals for Mental Disorders, right? The
right.
American Psychological Association has working on this book from a long time. They would do revision based on the recent studies, and the number of psychological disorders is being added since on. So today we just focus on the basics. One of the
Yeah,
most basic disorder is anxiety.
mm,
Anxiety is an emotion when, but it becomes a disorder when the four Ds represent its scores. Okay, that's why
mm,
I have discussed the four Ds first. So we will
yeah,
discuss. So we will get to the anxiety disorder point. Is my screen visible to you, Zarif?
yeah. It is.
Okay, good. Do you have any person in your mind who have a trait of anxiety or anxiousness in them?
No,
No. a person or a friend who just gets sick when there is a time of, an important exam or a stage delivering lectures, seminars where they have to present a PPT or something else.
Yeah.
That is, you have such friends,
Yeah.
so they are suffering from anxiety.
Mm.
This is anxiety. Now, here's a very common example that one day while driving, Dev felt his heart beating rapidly, and he started sweating very much profusely and even fell short of breath. What is happening? That he is breathing very fast, sweat all over, and breathing short. Breathing short means you are breathing from your chest, not from your belly. The deep
Yeah.
breath comes from belly. The short breaths come from chest. Sometimes
Mm.
try that. Take a deep breath. Your belly will swallow or will come out. These are the long breath and the healthy breaths. The short breaths were when your chest were going up and down rapidly.
Mm.
Okay, these are the difference between short breath and long breath. So
Yeah.
what happens with the depth? Oh, you are you are doing some.
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
it's all right. So the dev felt his heart beating rapidly, sweating, and short breath. He was so scared that he stopped the car and stepped out. Stepped out for getting fresh air. In the
Yeah.
next few months, these attacks increased, and now he was hesitant to drive for fear of being caught in traffic during an attack. Deb
Mm.
started feeling that he had gone crazy and would die. Soon he remained indoors and refused to move out of the house. What has happened here?
He was panicking. He was stressed. He
Well
was
done.
having an attack.
Yes, well done. Deb was outside when he was getting these attacks, especially in
Mm.
car or while driving.
Yeah.
So, with proper therapy, or when we talk out with Deb, what is happening? Do you only have? There would be several reasons that if the Deb is having anxiety attacks during the commute between their home and the house, or during particularly driving. These would
Mm.
be the two situations that Deb is feeling anxious. So, in the
Yeah.
next 2 months, what has happened due to recurrent panic attacks? He remained indoor. He
Mm.
feared getting outside. He feared getting driving. What is happening? His life is becoming dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Dev is a grown man. He should have some responsibilities. To fulfill the responsibilities, he need to move outside to get the groceries, to get the bills done, to do the job. But what has
Yeah.
happened due to anxiety, due to this emotional distress, he is remaining indoors. Now this
Mm.
has become a problem. This is anxiety, one of the type of anxiety. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on this?
I know.
Not right now. Okay. Now we will start with the basic definitions of anxiety, its type, okay, and the definition
Yeah.
of psychological disorder. If you carry a pen or paper or any notebook, it's better to write down or jot down the key points so that it
Yeah.
will help you in the short two MCQs question I will ask. What will give you to
Mm.
do? I will ask just to do. Okay. So we will start with
Yeah.
the psychological disorder definition. Psychological disorder we categorized with the presence of 4 Ds: dysfunctional, deviant, distress, and dangerous. Presence of
Can
these:
you name them again?
deviance,
Yeah.
distressing, dangerous, and dysfunctional.
Yeah.
What we use for these, we use them to categorize the presence of psychological distress or issues in a person. Okay.
Mm.
The definition of psychological disorder would be very simple: significant disturbance in one's cognition, emotional regulation, and behavior. What is
Yeah.
a psychological disorder? Significant disturbance in one's cognition. Cognition, in simple terms, mental processes. Okay.
Mm.
Once
Yeah.
one is having a significant distress in completing their process of mental processes, in regulating their emotions and behavior. This is the definition of psychological disorder. Okay.
Yeah.
These disorders are usually associated with distress, impairment in social, occupational, or other important activities.
Yeah.
These disorders comes with the impairment in social, occupational, and other important activities. DSM-5, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, is the guide of MHPs, mental health professionals in the US, to diagnose and treat these disorders. Okay.
Mm.
DSM-5 TR full form is text revision, is the latest version, which comes in 2022.
Mm.
Okay. This is the basic information about the psychological disorders. Now, when we have started with anxiety disorder, so anxiety in very simple terms, what is anxiety? It is defined as a very diffused, vague, and unpleasant feeling of fear.
Mm.
which is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay. This anxious individual comes with a combination of several physical and psychological symptoms. Physical symptoms could be, we will take the example of TEP. Physical symptoms could be rapid breathing,
Yeah.
rapid shallow breathing, not deep breathing. Shallow breathing comes
Hmm.
from the chest, rapid shallow breathing. Heartbeat increase, increase in heartbeat, palpitations, profusely sweating. These are the physical symptoms when a person is having an anxiety attack or panicking attack. What would be
Yeah.
the psychological symptoms?
Oh,
Psychological
what?
psychological symptoms would be decreased
Um, decreased breathing?
what?
Decreased what?
Huh. I was telling that what would be the psychological symptoms of the anxiety is decreased degree of using your cognition, your mental processes, your
Hmm.
thought ability, your
Yeah.
decision making ability would decline. The
Hmm.
power of that would decline.
Yeah.
You will feel a sense of uncomfortableness. You will sense. You will feel.
Hmm.
Okay. So these are some of the psychological symptoms that are associated with the anxiety. In just
Yeah.
this is anxiety now. Matlab, this is an umbrella term for the several types of anxiety we will now discuss in short. So first one
Hmm.
is generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. So the generalized anxiety disorder is simply when a person feel anxious about a wide range of things for no apparent reason.
Hmm.
Okay, there are, for example, you and me are social beings. Now you feel anxious that I have a meeting with a tuition E and my coaching is scheduled at 12. What if ma'am asked me some questions and I would fail and I would not able to answer? I now think in a different manner. Is this a thing to worry? No,
Hmm.
because this is a demo class. You are
Yeah.
all right if you don't know anything, right? But if you get worried about this thing, is it normal? No. But for the
Hmm.
person who is worrying about the simple demo interaction between the two person is suffering from GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. That particular person gets uh, that particular person gets anxious of about anything due to no apparent reason. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
no reason to be anxious, but he is anxious. When we rule out GAD, we will always try to put ourselves in their shoes.
Hmm.
Meaning, for example, you have said me that I have a meeting with my girlfriend and she loves to eat donuts, but I don't like it. Whenever we go outside, I feel anxious. That what if she asks to eat about donut and I will say no and we would break up and then I will be heartbroken. This would be your case and you have told me. Now, what would I do? I would think of me at your place that I am going with her. And what if she asks me, let's eat donut, Jaya, and I simply refused? What would be her reaction? What would be the worst she can say? The worst she can
Um.
say, you haven't told me yet. The worst she
Hmm.
can do is break up. What would happen? What would happen after that? The life,
Um.
the life will not stop. The globe will start, will remain, remove revolving. Na?
Yeah.
The thing is, the possibility is that she would break up is no very less. But the person is getting anxious daily, and his behavior with at a present scenario, the girlfriend is also able to sense the discomfort from the person.
Hmm.
So what would we can rule out from this, that it is a case of separation anxiety, that the person is anxious what if the dear one he holds will separate from him.
Hmm.
So when the person gets the clarity check from me as a psychologist or counselor, I will explain that no, you are not anxious because you do not eat donut. You are anxious because you are afraid that your girlfriend would separate from you, would leave you, and you need to change that, and you need to accept who you are. So when the clarity comes, when the consciousness come, awareness come of a problem, our mind is wired in the structure that our mind itself would like to work on the solutions. So this is
Yeah.
generalized anxiety disorder. A person is getting anxious of no apparent reason. Okay. Second comes the phobia. Phobia, wherever the word comes, irrational fear. In any MCQ, in any question, if a word comes irrational fear, the question is itself depicting towards phobias. Because the definition of phobia is irrational fear of specific objects and situations. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a number of phobias, a list of phobias, around 600 to so many phobias are there. People are People have irrational fears of color white. People have irrational fears of spider, dogs, clowns. There, the number is endless.
Hmm.
Okay, even there is a phobia of death. Have you seen the Marvel movies?
Yeah.
So you are aware about Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos is a character that comes from the word Thanatos. Thanatos means death,
mm,
and its opposite is Eros. Eros means life, prosperity. So
mm,
what was the role of Thanos? To maintain the balance by wiping out the half population means death of the half population. So wherever the Thanos goes, there will be death and destruction.
mm.
Thanatos is a energy. The world where the Thanos words arrive is Thanatos. Thanatos is the energy that depicts the destruction or death.
Yeah.
Example in psychoanalytic, if you have heard about Sigmund Freud, there is a school of psychology, psychoanalysis. He has explained Thanatos is the energy in a person, where a person becomes destructive, aggressive,
Mm,
and comes on the mode of killing mode. That's the
yeah.
Thanatos energy that is growing in a person. Okay.
Mm,
So Thanos is the character that comes from that. Why I'm explaining Thanatos here? Because there is a phobia, death anxiety, that is known as thanatophobia. You
yeah.
will get to remember this through this way. Most of
Mm,
the Marvel movies or the movies that have depth in them, depth, not depth,
yeah.
depth in them, they comes from a variety of concepts. And it is very easier to learn the concepts through these movies because we are very fond of these movies itself. Right?